What are the cavern diving rules in and around Tulum? Cavern diving is a way for recreational scuba divers to experience cave-like conditions. Things like seeing stalactites and stalagmites, or fossils, or haloclines, or tons of other cool things that recreational divers do want to see. But how do we keep recreational people safe in this overhead environment? By the end of this video, you're going to know all the different guidelines to keep you safe for your upcoming cavern dive. You're going to know the three main differences between cave and cavern. And you're going to know who is eligible for a cavern tour. For our cavern diving rules, there are a couple of different places you can find them. You can find them online on the career website, which we'll mention at other points on this video. You can also find them listed at just about every cenote that offers cavern diving. And now you can find them here. Isn't that nice? So cavern diving rules. Now, before you go for your cavern dive, your dive guide should walk you through all of these rules. But in case you're curious or you want to get ahead of the curve, let's talk about them first. At the top of these rules, the very first thing is a list of blanket no's. No knives. We don't want you stabbing anything or anyone, and we don't need you cutting lines or anything like that. No knives. No gloves. Why no gloves? When people wear gloves, sometimes they poke things, thinking they're not damaging the environment, or at least their hands are protected. We don't want you touching anything during your cavern tour, so no gloves. No snorkels. You're never actually going to need a snorkel, but what you are going to need is to please subscribe to this channel and like this video. It really helps a lot. Next up, no dangling things. What I mean is, I don't want anything loose under you. No dangly regulators, like your yellow hose that isn't tucked away properly. No SPGs flopping around. They're going to damage the equipment. They're going to impact the environment. Nothing dangling. This next one should go without saying. No touching anything. When it comes to stalactites and stalagmites, they're very delicate, so please do not try to poke them. It'll probably break. Also, don't touch the ones on the ground either. Just leave them in place. Try not to impact the environment at all throughout your entire cavern dive. And then I definitely shouldn't have to say this one, but please no writing in the silt or in the sand, Steve was here 2025. Definitely don't put my name, but don't put your name either. Next up, we're going to talk about how you're going to dive in the group. Usually a group is one dive guide in the front, followed by some buddy teams. For these dives, you're going to be in single file. So that's going to be one dive guide in the front, followed by single file of people. Usually it's going to be the least experienced person in the front, most experienced person in the back, but that's not at all a rule. That's just kind of what usually happens. Groups should be no more than 4 divers plus a dive guide. Your dive guide should be absolute minimum full cave certified and absolute minimum a dive master. Next up, we're going to talk about gas. For how much gas you're allowed to use in the overhead environment, around here our rule of thumb is the rule of thirds. If you think about this as a straight line, maybe somewhere like Ponderosa, you would use 1/3 of your gas on the way in, you would turn around once you've used 1/3, go back to the entrance using another 1/3 on the way back out, and you'll have 1/3 as a reserve. If you're diving somewhere like Dos Ojos, where it makes a U shape, you'll probably use 1/3 of your gas on the way in to get you to the halfway point of the line, then 1/3 of your gas on the way out on the back half of that same line. So you might not turn around. As long as you've made it with 2/3 of your gas to the halfway point, you should be able to safely continue the dive on the way forward, following your dive guide. If you reach 2/3 of your total gas, please let me know. How do you let me know? You can either tap my fin, wave your light up and down nice and slowly to get my attention, and just say, shine your light at your hand and say, hey Steve, I've got 2/3. That's typically what we do, but again, talk to your dive guide about the exact expectations they have of you on the dive. If for whatever reason you are below 2/3 and you do not think that your dive guide knows that, please let them know. If 2 minutes ago you told them that you had 2/3 of your gas, okay, then they expect you to be below 2/3 now. Your dive guide for reference should be wearing 2 tanks of some kind, whether that's 2 tanks, one on either side of them, diving side mount, or 2 tanks on their back, diving doubles. They should have a ton of gas to help deal with any potential issue. Next up, we'll talk about daylight. Being able to see daylight is one of the main differences between cave and cavern. At any point on the dive, you should be able to see light. If you look somewhere, might be behind you, above you, below you, whatever. Probably not below you, but should be somewhere. Just know that sometimes your cavern dive might feel a little cavey, but I bet you if you turn around, you'll be able to see daylight. It's just over there now. Extra things about lights, you should have one minimum flashlight of some kind. If it's your first time using a light, talk to your dive guide about how exactly to use it. With these lights, we want to keep them facing relatively forward. As dive guides, we want to see lights moving slowly around the cavern as you look at rocks, you look over here, you look over there. Please do not move your lights very quickly. Lights moving quickly, that gets your dive guide's attention. Lights moving slowly, that's what we expect to see. Some people make a very big distinction between up and down lights versus left and right lights. For me, just fast or slow moving lights, okay? But again, talk to your actual dive guide and see if they have any preferences. The one last pseudo-universal thing with lights is if you take your light and shine it in a big circle, we're saying or asking okay. If your dive guide gives you a big okay, it's probably because you have let your light shine down for a long time and your dive guide can no longer see your light shining in front of them, so they're just making sure that you are okay. So maybe if they give you a big okay, you give them an okay with your light, and then everyone keeps diving forward. It's nice that way everyone's looking the same direction the entire time, and I don't have to turn around. I can just do a little light okay, and you're like, oh yeah, no, everything's okay. And then we don't have to turn around, say, are you okay? Or whatever, just okay. Guidelines. No matter what cavern you're diving in, you should be following a solid gold line. Here in the area, gold line versus white line is what we use to distinguish between cavern and cave. As cavern divers, we want to stay on the gold line. Staying on this gold line does a couple of things for us. Number one, it ensures that everyone in the group is staying within the cavern zone. Maybe your cavern dive takes you very close to cave where there's no more natural light. We want to make sure we stay within the light zone, and that gold line should be laid where you should be able to see daylight somewhere, maybe off in the distance, but you should be able to see daylight from the gold line. So you stay on the gold line, you're staying in the cavern zone. Additionally, it helps us with impacting the environment. Think of a gold line as your little path through the woods. If everyone walks on the path, then the path will look well worn, but the rest of the forest should look pretty. Same thing for cavern dives. If we stay on the gold line, maybe we accidentally impact the environment. Don't impact the environment, but if you do, do it while you're within arm's reach of the gold line. That is the area where, unfortunately, people do tend to impact the environment, but at least we're all impacting the exact same place. If we all just swim wherever we want around the cavern, then we're going to impact everything in the cavern, and we don't want to do that. With the line, we want to make sure that we're never more than an arm's length away, whether that's to the side, above it, to the other side, but we never want to be underneath that gold line. Always within eyesight and always within arm's reach. We always know where it is, and we're never very far. Next up, what do we do with our feet? Your feet should be kicking. You should be doing frog kicking. If you try to do flutter kicking, big ups and downs, you're probably going to push water down. That pushing water down is probably going to stir up a lot of silt. If you don't know how to frog kick, ask your dive guide. They'll probably be frog kicking in front of you. Next up, we'll talk about the size of the cavern. Most of the time in most caverns, you should be able to hold hands with a couple of other people and everyone swim through all at once. We're talking wide, massive open places a majority of the time. It's not going to be some small, restrictive thing that gets people all nervous. This is one of the big differences between cave and cavern. Cave, you get into small places. Cavern, it's going to stay big the whole time. Next up, stop signs. Stop signs are used to physically be the barrier or be the line in between cave and cavern. You should always be able to look at the front of a stop sign, but not necessarily the back of the stop sign, if that makes sense. A lot of our caverns are quite close to cave, and sometimes certified cave divers will be swimming off into them. To help make sure that no one ever gets confused and follows the wrong line, in several areas we have stop signs in place so that people know, okay, this is definitely cave, I should be staying right here. Depending on what dive site you go to, you might see one, you might see none, you might see a bunch, it depends. Next up, you should be no more than 60 meters or 200 feet away from breathable air. Somewhere you can take your regulator out, poke your head up, and be breathing normal air. There will be many times where it feels like you're much more than 60 meters away because you're looking this way, but your dive guide knows, hey, right over there, like 2 feet away, is a breathable pocket of air. And sometimes there will be snorkelers almost kicking you in the head and you don't even realize it because you don't realize where every single air pocket is. Worth saying, all of these cavern diving rules definitely should be talked about with your dive guide first. Maybe they have extra things they like to add on, or maybe there's something unique about this dive site that we haven't talked about yet. So always refer back to your dive guide. There are some other specific differences between cave and cavern that are outlined on the Creer website for cavern guides in the area. There's this whole website with a bunch of different materials. If you really want to nerd out and go look at them all, please do. It's a fantastic website, fantastic organization. These guys have laid out everything in black and white. They talk about the other limits being no going deeper than 30 meters if you're on a cavern tour, no going through the hydrogen sulfide cloud at Angelita, no going into decompression. They lay everything out in black and white, so you should know what is and isn't allowed. But for the most part, again, your dive guide should fill you in on this. And now for the big question, who is eligible to go for a cavern dive? Any certified diver should be able to go to a level 1 cenote. Yes, there are different levels of cenotes. They're laid out again by those Creer people. They are also listed at a bunch of the different dive sites. But even if you're only an open water diver, there are still plenty of cavern tours that you are eligible to go see. If you want to do multiple days of diving and slowly work your way up from a level 1 to a 2 to a 3 or whatever, maybe you will need additional certifications. But for now, just know that any of the cenotes that are level 1, you're good to go to if you're a certified diver. Ultimately, it's going to be up to your dive guide to determine which cenote is appropriate for you, depending on your certification level, your comfort level, your experience, and all those kinds of things. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Until next time, be safe and go do something cool.